All right, welcome back, friends. This is Load the Box. Same guys, same hats, same T-shirts. Jordan's got different glasses on this time. The chain's tucked in, like we said, because we're talking business. It's Packers week. You can take a lot of different approaches to Packers week, Jordan. You can be raucous. You can be brash. You can trash talk. You can cower in your corner. You can hold your breath for 6 days and just wait for 3 p.m. on Sunday so the game's over and you don't have to think about the Packers anymore. I am personally very excited for this game. I think it's going to be a real litmus test again. Every game's a litmus test. These first three have proven a lot. But like I said in the Houston breakdown, this is kind of your first big road test. The Giants, I think we both agree, are awful. And the last two games, although against real tough opponents, were both at home. So, first real road test. We don't really know what the Packers are because we haven't seen Jordan Love since week 1. We know that they have pieces. We know that their defense has played pretty well. But we also know that they played the Colts and the Titans in back-to-back weeks. So, what do you make of that? So, Jordan, let's start with you as we go into this matchup at Lambeau Field. It's a noon start, none of this January 1st negative 30-degree Sunday night football crap that I don't think anybody wants. It's a noon start in September. It's a very different atmosphere than, like I said, late season stuff. What are you thinking in terms of this matchup? How do the teams stack up? What does Green Bay present as the biggest challenge for the Vikings? Take that question any way you want.
Green Bay is far and away the best rushing offense that the Vikings have faced so far. And we're all amped about the Brian Flores defense and how freaky good it has been through 3 weeks. But Green Bay can pound the rock. It seems like, I mean, they ran for like 250 yards or something against the Colts. They continued to run, and Malik Willis even was showing off some of his arm, but they obviously got him involved in the run game. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Full transparency, this is recorded on a Monday night, this kind of pregame thing. But I don't think that really affects knowing who the QB will be, because Jordan Love, I think, is a game time decision. I think they're gonna. I'm gonna assume that he's gonna play. I think that that's the way that it's leaning, but we don't really know. But even if he does play, I think it's ultimately their run game is really good. They went out, they got Josh Jacobs, they have a good O-line, and they're going to try to lean on that even if Jordan Love is playing in this one to minimize the damage that he's going to take from Flores' defense. So, yeah, man, look, we were all kind of freaked out when the Vikings didn't go and they didn't sign, a big name D tackle, or they didn't draft a D tackle, I think, at all in the draft. And they were like, yeah, we're just going to run it back with Jonathan Bullard and, whoever in the middle. And so it's going to be crucial that they shut that down and they just keep doing what they've done the last 3 weeks, which is punch teams in the mouth and get out to early leads. That way they don't really have, they can kind of know that the defense kind of or the offense is kind of taking the run game out of the picture. So that's going to be super crucial for the Vikings to do.
Well, yeah, I'm right on the same page with you, and also the Malik Willis element is interesting too because he's also going to hurt you on the ground. He's, I think he's obviously a competent passer. He's made some throws, but I think where he really can hurt you is his scrambling ability and his ability to run. And that's going to just add to the importance of stopping the run. The Packers had more rush yards in only one of the games, I suppose, but they had about equal rushing and passing yards last week. Against the Colts, they had 260 on the ground and only 120 ridiculous in the air. They're going to run the ball. This is going to be very much a ball control type game. The Vikings still have not won the time of possession battle this season in any of their games. They've had fewer offensive plays in all of their games. which Kevin O'Connell and I also kind of thought that was a negative maybe through 1 or 2 weeks. But then, like we talked about in the Houston show, you look at why these drives are short, it's because they're getting takeaways and then they're converting short fields. So it's a little, the stats are a little bit misleading in that regard. But all that aside, Vikings have shown that they have the ability to stop the run. They currently have the fourth best yards allowed. So the fourth fewest yards allowed per rush in the NFL this season. But like you said, they've been playing with leads. And so teams are not going to be running the ball as much. I mean, they've only allowed the third most rushing yards, or they've allowed the third fewest rushing yards because people aren't running against them. So it's going to be a real challenge, and we'll really see what this defense is made up as a whole. Because like when you get ahead and you're beating the Giants by 3 touchdowns and you're up on the 49ers by 9 with 4 minutes to go, you know what they're doing. The other thing I'll say too about the need to stop the run is this Green Bay team, not only do they run it well, they also have a star in the backfield. And this is the first time the Vikings have seen a star running back. The 49ers didn't have McCaffrey. Obviously, they had Debo and they had Jordan Mason. Both obviously can run the ball effectively, but they're not Christian McCaffrey. The Giants don't have a star running back anymore. Saquon Barkley's gone. And the Texans, I would not call Joe Mixon a star anymore. I think he's over the hill. He's looked a little slow these first few weeks. He didn't play in week 3. So the Vikings haven't faced a real formidable star running back. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think.
What do you think? Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, yeah, I think that, obviously the run game, that I can't hammer that home enough. That is, like you said, time of possession. It's going to be, we'll get to skull predictions and everything in a little bit. And I might still be just sipping some purple Kool-Aid with my skull prediction. But this is not, realistically, this is not going to be oh my gosh, the Vikings went out and won by 3 possessions again type of game, because Green Bay is going to make sure, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that they have the ball for as long as they can. They, they're going to test this defense. And I think this is the best team the Vikings have played so far, which is shocking, being that we've played Houston and San Francisco, and a little scary. But, it's division rival in their house, all those things. Here's a fun stat that I found today. Green Bay had 7 interceptions last season. They already have 7 interceptions this season. Now, granted, they played Anthony Richardson, who is basically a walking 3 picks a game, and Will Levis, who's basically a walking 2 picks a game. So are those stats inflated by 2 guys who are having their first real stouts, whatever? Like, yeah, probably. But the defense is also being very hot, very opportunistic, and they're definitely capitalizing, on the mistakes that some people are making. So, if Sam Darnold has a shuffle pass incident, Green Bay is liable to jump on that and swing the momentum pendulum really into the cheesehead favor. So I think it's going to be crucial that, Sam plays just mistake-free football. And here we go. Let's get the record out, blow the dust off. I've said it every week, and I'm going to say it every week. The key to this game is the Vikings rush for like 120 combined yards, and Sam just operates comfortably and doesn't try to be a superhero, because Sam is not a super. I love Sam. I think Sam's playing great. I'm really happy to hear that his knee is okay. Sam's not a superhero. Sam's just a good quarterback. So let's just let him go out and be a good quarterback and not ask him to, have to do like, we had some games with Kirk where it was like, hey, Kirk, we're down 17, go win. And Kirk would go out there and he'd be like, okay. And he'd start chucking it all over Lambeau. We got to stop that. I also would like to see Aaron Jones get a couple of rushing touchdowns and jump into the, do the bank vault in Lambeau. That would be pretty cool. Pretty lame that the Packers stole the bank vault from us and called it the Lambeau Leap. That was, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, man, I mean, the offense has to just keep the formula that they've been playing with. And so far, the Vikings haven't been met with much adversity. this feels like the first week that they will be met, with a little bit of adversity.
Absolutely. It's interesting. You probably go back and listen to our first shows from this season. We've probably talked about the running game on offense like 60% of the time.
Yeah.
It's obviously a clear priority for this team this year. It was not good the first 2 seasons under O'Connell. And, you had to shore that up. I also think, like we said, Jordan, this team is physical. And they're actually okay banging heads with the other teams and just pushing it down their throats. I mean, Aaron Jones is also so elusive that he makes a bad blocked run into like a 3 or 4 yard gain. I'm watching this guy, and not to bang on Alexander Madison, I've well documented on this show that I'm a big Alexander Madison fan, both from the personal side of things as well as what he was good at on the football field. But some of these runs where Jones would get 4, 5, 6 yards, Madison would have got a loss of 2. And it's night and day different watching his elusiveness. So I think, again, running game is so paramount. And I just quick checked this before the show because, noticing that the Vikings are running for over 100 yards in every game so far this season. When in O'Connell's tenure, the Vikings are 14-4 when they run for over 100 yards. So if that tells you anything about the importance of running the ball, I mean, it's going to be paramount again. And it's very similar to the whole turnover margin thing with O'Connell. When the Vikings are either even or positive in the turnover margin, they're 20-0. So with O'Connell, it's just run for 100 yards and don't turn the ball over, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that same script again, and it's a different sort of matchup because oftentimes with the Packers, you think, oh, we got to stop their aerial attack, we got to stop Aaron Rodgers, we just can't let Brett Favre throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. We got to just slow down the air. But it's so different now that it's probably taking more of a turn to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens rivalry, where every game was 13-9 and the helmets were all chipped and the jerseys were different colors by the end of the game because it was just 4 yards, a cloud of dust, and Ray Lewis laying on top of somebody. It was a very different feel, and I think maybe this Vikings-Packers game might take on some of that spirit, maybe different than years past.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this one has the potential to be a very defense-led game, and that is a turn-off for some people. I personally, that's football, baby. Like that's what it's about. I'm gonna enjoy watching a defensive struggle if that is what it turns into. But I think that what's almost dangerous about the Packers is none of their receivers are flashy, but they're all it's like they have 5 Jalen Nailors. And it's that's pretty dangerous to have 5 Jalen Nailors. There is that's pretty good because Jalen Nailor's pretty good. I don't know that he's a 1 in this league, but he's a good receiver. And if you have if you go 5 deep with Jalen Nailors, then you're fine. And not that I'm not saying everyone is that exact archetype of every one of their receivers is lanky, tall, and fast. It's not. It's they all have different skill sets and whatnot. But it just seems like they have a bunch of wide receiver threes that all play decent. Yep. And there's a KJ Osborne here, and there's a Jalen Nailor here, and there's a Brandon Powell, and it doesn't seem like anybody's reaching out and being I'm going to be a top 5 receiver in this league, a top 10 receiver in this league. But they have a lot of the middle section of the receiver hierarchy, if you will. Once you start getting down, it's oh yeah, they probably have 3 or 4 guys in the 28 to 50 range. And so it's dangerous because if Love does play, and again, who knows, Malik Willis had a really good game, throwing the ball last week. But if Love does play, no matter who the quarterback is, those Evils are dangerous, and they do present a threat because it's not, okay, just take away Nico Collins. Okay, just take away Debo, and Ayuk. Like, it does feel like they go so deep at receiver that they can beat you in several different ways. Not to mention, I really like both of their tight ends. So, definitely going to be a tough matchup. Well, just talking about how good Green Bay is, I do want to take a second. I think the Vikings are perfectly capable of hanging, like, a lot of points on any team in this league at this point. Like, San Francisco's a well-coached team, a good defense. We went and we scored 23 against them. Houston has a defensive head coach. We went and hung 31 against them because we got a turnover or two, and they missed a field goal, but granted, they had to kick a very long field goal, so, props to the defense there. So I think the Vikings are more than capable of turning this game that we're kind of predicting is going to be this, like you said, 4 yards in a cloud of dust. The Vikings are very capable of turning this into no, let's see if those, wide receiver threes you got can run the score up, because we came to play. We came to go quick, and Sam Darnold's playing out of his mind. So, let's see what you guys got. So I'm not I don't want to sound like I'm just terrified of Green Bay. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking. I think the Vikings can easily win this game. It's just, it does seem like it would lean on, both teams want to run the ball, so the game will be lower scoring.
Well, let's get into it. I think the Vikings are going to win this game. And that's partly because, unlike you, Jordan, I don't think Jordan Love's playing. Although I don't think Jordan Love is as good as he's being paid, I think he is a very good quarterback, and I think he executes what Matt LaFleur wants to do extremely well. I think from my chair, hundreds of miles away, watching what the Packers are doing with Jordan Love, I think it's a lot of gamesmanship. I don't think he's playing this week. I don't think he'll play next week. When you tear your MCL, or was it torn or was it sprained?
I think it ended up just being a spine.
Okay. Either way, a ligament injury in your knee is no joke. You don't want to rush those things back. I personally think they should have just put him on IR, but it's not my decision. Obviously, I think it was clear that they were... I shouldn't say clear. I felt that the Packers were stringing along the Titans last week to try and make them not sure who was playing quarterback. I don't think Jordan Love's playing this week. I think the Vikings are going to win. I think it's going to be 24-16. I think the Packers, with their running attack, they'll be able to move the ball okay. But I think this defense is so stout. I think they're going to force a lot of field goal attempts. And I like where the Vikings offense is at. And like we talked about earlier, Aaron Jones is going to get in the end zone, and he's going to have a super awkward Lambeau leap, and it's going to be fantastic. And Packers fans aren't going to know what to do, and he's going to get a game ball. So that's where I'm at. I'm going back to the low-hanging fruit, Jordan. I'm not doing any of this nonsense.
Can't make the Grenard mistake again.
Johnny Muntz getting the ball or anything.
Yeah, like right. Well, you can't make the Jonathan Grenard mistake. You can't do the This is why Aaron Jones signed with the Vikings, is for this game and then for the next game. Like, he did it specifically so he could play against the Packers twice. He's got the same mindset that, Brett Favre had back in 2009, where it's like, F you guys, you don't want to pay me, you want to get rid of me, okay, I'll go to your biggest rival and I'll ball out. So, I hope you're correct, and I was kind of thinking whenever we started, I said it 3 times, I was like, I have defense. And then we started this portion of the show, and I was like, who do I have? Do I have offense? I hope I have offense. Aaron Jones is going to, he's going to go off. I have the Vikings winning this one, and, if the Vikings have proven anything, it is that they win games bigly. So I'm going with the Vikings winning 31-17. I'm giving the Packers offense some points here, maybe a Sam Darnold mistake, maybe, something like that. But I have the Vikings winning by 2 possessions. And I think Harrison Smith is going to, this is always like, I don't know why. I feel like Harrison Smith, and maybe it was just because Rodgers used to talk about him a lot, where Rodgers would always be like, he does so much, he's so crazy, blah, blah, blah. Like, Rodgers had a lot of respect for him. So I'm going to say Harrison Smith gets my game ball. I think he comes out and I'm going to say, snags an interception. And I'm going to say he scores a touchdown. That's going to be that's why he gets the game ball. He's going to get a pick 6. So the old man finds the end zone. That's going to be me. I really wanted to go. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I love your ex-Packers take because remember Zadarius Smith against the Packers in 2022?
Oh,
Like
that
he
was
was
crazy.
just wrecked that first game. Anyways, go ahead,
Yeah, I
change
was
course.
no, yo, okay. I was gonna say, I wanted to go with Dallas Tono because he's coming back now. He had that knee, and they said like, yeah, he's gonna miss Houston, but he'll be back. So I wanted to go with him because I was like, wouldn't it be really cool if like Van Ginkel had the huge game, and then like Gwinnett had the huge game. And like last week, oh, not last week, but it's the San Francisco game. It was the Cashman experience. And so, like, wouldn't it be cool if like another new face to the building had like a big game that led to the defense dominating? But I think it's time that the Vikings prove that, you know what, we're a class organization and we have good players that weren't just free agency signings. We grew this talent. Look at what we got. We got 38-year-old Harrison Smith balling out. I think he's actually like 35 or 36. But yeah, man, I'm excited about it. I'm anxious about the game. I'm anxious for any divisional game. You have to treat with a high level of respect, and that anything can happen. It's going to be a very fun game. We will be back. I will be back with Josh on Tuesday to do grades from the couch for this one. Maybe the first like D and C's thrown out if the Vikings don't, live up to mine and Will's expectations. And then Wednesday on the YouTube channel, you will be able to find the post game and mine and Will's overreactions and things like that. And then Thursday, of course, we will be doing the like pre-game for the Jets. Right? I was trying to think of who we play next, and it is the Jets, isn't it? Oh, yeah,
London,
and then it's
baby.
the bye week. Yeah, London already. So yeah, man. Like I said, we covered this on a Monday. Trent Scott just scored a touchdown. He's a sixth lineman for Washington, and Washington's beating the crap out of Cincinnati.
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
Nope.
Final thoughts here.
Those were
just
mine, by the way.
Lovely. Here's my final thoughts. I gotta be petty because it's Packers week. I'm just so excited for the family reunion this weekend, Jordan. Justin gets to be with his son, Jair. And Aaron Jones gets to go back to the family of origin that abandoned him. It's just going to be cordial. It's going to be lovely. There's going to be smiles and a lot of physical activity on the football field, and it's going to be aggressive, and it's going to be fun. I'm just so excited for this family reunion, Jordan. It's that was good when you get the family together.
There was a strong. I'm sorry. I know I said my final thoughts already, but there's a strong possibility that Jair Alexander, like Justin Jefferson, drops a ball and Jair goodies over him after like those 5 Packers around on all sides of him. So Jair is like, they're like, Jair, all you have to do is defend a slant, and then Jefferson runs a slant and he breaks it up, and he's like, I'm the best corner in the league. I'm the best corner in the league, because he's got that real high pitched voice or whatever. But yeah, man, he is unironically, watch, we're gonna like sign him in free agency or something next season, but he is my least favorite player in the NFL. It's not close. And yeah, I think that's about it for me.
No love for Jair. All the pettiness aside, we do respect the Packers. I think it's going to be a great game. Packers week is never easy. It's always unpredictable. It'll be fun though. We'll be back, like Jordan said. Wash this one down the drain, win or loss, and we'll get ready for the flight across the pond and Aaron Rodgers. Skol, y'all.